Constitution. Um, let me get to him. Let me get to him.
Call from.
Rizal.
This is for real with Mike. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Rizal, Rod from Philly.
What's up, Rizan? Are you pro Trump or against Trump?
Rizal, Rizzod, Rizal.
Okay, are you for Trump or against Trump?
Um, I'm for America.
I like that.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah,
All right, I ain't gonna hold you long. I'm gonna take 60 seconds. I'm gonna try to take 60 seconds.
I love it.
All right. All right. So this first off, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, right? I'm from Philly. I was born in 1980s, 1985, in the crack era, crack epidemic. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up, it was crack everywhere. Not a lot of police, right? Wonder why. My community, boom, lot of police. So my mom and dad tell me when they used to go to school back in the early 80s, right around the corner on Willing Ave, it was a large Italian, uh, Irish demographic, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s on their way to high school. The black kids, they used to get beat up by the white kids on the way to school,
Okay.
right? They had to group together, and this is in the late 80s. This is after the civil rights era, all that. Boom.
Okay.
I I never witnessed it. I just heard stories. I was born in 1985. They telling me these stories in 1992. I'm 7 years old.
Right.
I joined the Marine Corps. All these white guys got black jokes. I ain't got no white jokes. You know what I'm saying? I never grew up making fun about white folks.
Right.
So then, white folks is doing the Hitler salute and hanging little toys from nooses from high up. When I would come to work while I was in the Marine Corps, it'd be little army men or whatever, little toys being hung with nooses. I paid no mind. But I understand the message they're trying to say. It made me very, 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 boom. I just had to understand my history a little more. So then understand Ronald Reagan created the Mulford Act. Brothers are trying to protect themselves from um tyrannical police, you know what I'm saying? Violating their constitutional rights. Then I look at my history, because now I'm debating every day in the Marine Corps racial debates. I look at my history. Ronald Reagan switched from the Democrat Party, which was the party of the Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan had a 30,000 man rally in 1929 or 1919. Ronald Reagan started conservative radio. He switched in the late 50s because he said the Democrat Party when the Kennedy was running for president, he said the Democratic Party no longer stands with his values. That's why he's switching to the Republican Party. Ronald Reagan was against the Civil Rights era. He was against the Voting Rights Act. He was against the Voting Rights Act. He was against the Civil Rights Act. Ronald Reagan instituted. He was a tyrant because he got rid of open carry, because black men were open carrying shotguns to protect themselves from police brutality. After that, a lot of northern FDR was for black folks. Eisenhower was for black folks. Kennedy was for black folks. They were all Democrats. All other Democrats that were still for all Democrats that were for blacks, all Republicans that were for black folks during that time switched to Democrat. All Democrats that were real Democrats from the 1920s, 1910s, 1930s, they switched over to Republican, and that was the switch right there. Ronald Reagan changed, became from Democrat to Republican. That was a part of the Klan. Reagan changed. Reagan changed. The rest of the party changed. That's all I got to say.
I guess that was a mic drop. Okay, that's how you do a mic drop. He said that. Let's see, can I find some factual stuff about the civil rights and Ronald Reagan? That was one of the things that he talked about, and I guess he's still saying that um that I guess he's a Democrat. That was a Democrat caller there. Let me just make sure I get some facts going on here. I'm just trying to make sure again. Searching other sources. I don't like to try to just pick one. Let me see here. It says here that Ronald Reagan's record on civil rights is complex, often debated. As both governor in California and later as president, he often opposed major civil rights legislation. I'm sorry, legislation on the grounds of the state's rights and individual property rights, but also took some actions. that were viewed as supportive. So he was like in between. It says some more things here. The key aspects of his stance include opposition to legislation. It says early in his political career, Reagan opposed major civil rights bills, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968, arguing that they infringe on individual liberties and on the power of federal government was overextended. So he did oppose those three. He opposed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. Um, Vetoes and overrides. As president, he vetoed the Civil Rights Act I can't get it out. Act of 1987. He opposed that one, which aimed to broaden the reach of anti-discrimination laws. Congress overwhelmingly overrode his veto, making it law. So he opposed the Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987. So he did four things. He did the civil rights. He opposed the civil rights. He opposed the Voting Act of 1965. He opposed the Fair Housing Act of 1968, and he opposed. Well, he vetoed the civil rights resurrection. Restoration. Can't get it out right. Let's see one more thing here. Support for the Voting Rights Act, despite his initial. Now here we go. Now this is when he starts. He starts. Okay, support for the Voting Rights Act. Despite his initial opposition in 1965, he opposed it in 1965, but in 1982, he signed a 25-year extension on the legislation after a significant public and congressional pressure. So they think he did it out of pressure, but they say that he did. The Martin Luther King Jr. Act. He initially opposed making Martin Luther King Jr. Day a federal holiday, but signed the bill into law after it passed both the House and Senate with veto-proof majority. So he signed it up, but he initially opposed it, but he signed it after it passed the House and the Senate. Appointees. It says Reagan's appointees for Justice Department, Civil Rights Division, and Equal Employment Opportunity Commissions were criticized by some for weakening the enforcements and and let's see, in essence, civil rights laws. He also appointed Sandra Day O'Connor as the first female Supreme Court justice. So he appointed a woman. Controversial rhetoric and stuff. Okay, that's enough of that. It says Reagan used the phrase "welfare queen." It's in bold. It's in large print, so it caught my eye. It says here that Reagan. It says controversial rhetoric and actions. Reagan used the phrase welfare queens. I didn't know it was from Reagan. Okay, welfare queens. Well, he used the phrase to describe the myth about single black mothers reusing government assistance, which critics claim was a calculated appeal to racial sentiments. Audio tapes from 1971 also revealed him making a racially insensitive remark about African delegates at the UN as monkeys. So that's the thing there. Was recorded of him calling the UN, African UN delegates as monkeys, and they had it recorded on there. Anything else that seemed like that was? I don't remember that in the news. Maybe I did, and just went away fast. Let's see. It said official statements. It says in the public remarks, it says Reagan emphasized his administration commitment to equal rights for all citizens, stating his vision was for a society where people were judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. One more time, official statement from Reagan is in public remarks. I guess he said it more than once. He said it more than once. Reagan's emphasized his administration's commitment to equal rights for all citizens, stating his vision was to for a society where people were judged on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. Okay, that's enough of that. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's see here. That's so long ago, guys. It's so long ago. Oh, that was what I was reading right there. Let's see. I just want to see. I try to do both sides. I try to do a little bit of both sides here, and then that's this is 1925. It says here. Oh, where am I? Okay, that's where I want to be right here. I want to be right here. Okay, I was like, where am I? Okay, I want to see the comments. Let's see what's going on here. Jason Martin, thank you for stepping in. Ooh, thank you, Jason. Here.